My name is Ruth Ann Whitaker, and I'm 62 years old. I still live in the same little white house with the creaky front porch just outside Nashville, Tennessee, where the smell of fried chicken and fresh-cut grass fills the air every summer evening. I raised my son Caleb alone after his daddy walked out when he was barely 3 years old. No child support, no goodbye letter, just an empty closet and a mountain of bills. I worked double shifts at the Waffle House off I-40 for years, coming home with grease stains on my uniform and feet so swollen I could barely walk. On weekends, I sang backup at small honky-tonks on Lower Broadway just to make extra money for Caleb's school clothes and baseball cleats. I never complained. Every time he brought home a report card with straight A's or hit a home run, I told myself it was all worth it. Caleb grew up kind, talented, and stubborn, just like his mama. He could play guitar before he could drive. By the time he was 25, he was writing songs that made people cry in dive bars across Tennessee. When he told me he'd fallen in love with Madison Reed, the rising country singer with the big voice and bigger dreams, I wanted to be happy for him. Lord knows I did. Madison was beautiful, with long blonde hair, bright red lipstick, and a smile that lit up every stage she stepped on. The first time Caleb brought her to my house, she hugged me tight and said, "Miss Ruth Ann, I've heard so much about you. Caleb says you're the strongest woman he knows." I believed her. I wanted to believe her. But small things started bothering me. She never asked about my life. She never wanted to hear the old stories about how I raised Caleb on tips and prayers. Whenever I tried to talk about his childhood, she'd change the subject to her upcoming album or the fancy parties she attended in Music Row. Still, I kept my mouth shut. My boy was happy, and that was enough. The wedding was supposed to be the biggest country celebration Nashville had seen in years. Madison wanted it at a beautiful, restored barn on a hill country vineyard just outside the city. String lights, wildflower arrangements, a live band, and a guest list full of music executives and influencers. Caleb asked me to help with decorations. I spent weeks making handmade centerpieces with mason jars, lace, and dried wildflowers I picked myself. I even baked their wedding cake, 3 tiers of vanilla with strawberry filling, just like Caleb loved since he was little. The night before the wedding, I drove out to the rehearsal dinner with my old Chevy pickup, the back filled with the final decorations. My heart was full. This was supposed to be the day I finally got a daughter. Madison met me at the entrance of the barn, looking like a country princess in a white lace dress, but her eyes were ice cold. "Miss Ruth Ann," she said quietly, pulling me aside so no one could hear, "after tomorrow, you're not part of this family anymore." The words hit me like a slap. "Excuse me?" I whispered. She leaned in closer, her perfume too sweet. "You heard me. You've done your part. You raised Caleb. Tomorrow, he becomes my husband, and we're stepping into a different world, a better world. We have standards now. Your little mason jar crafts and Waffle House stories don't fit here. Don't embarrass us tomorrow. Just stay home. Spare everyone the drama." She patted my arm like I was a confused old lady and walked away smiling, waving at guests like nothing happened. I stood there holding my box of decorations, feeling every year of hard work, every double shift, every tear I'd hidden from Caleb crash down on me. I drove home in silence, tears blurring the highway lights. That night, I sat on my front porch with a cup of sweet tea, staring at the stars. I thought about all the nights I'd worked so Caleb could have new guitar strings, all the school plays I attended alone, all the times I told him, "We may not have much, but we've got each other." And now, this woman, the one he wanted to spend his life with, had looked me in the eye and told me I was no longer family. The next morning, I didn't put on the pale yellow dress I'd bought months ago. I didn't drive to the vineyard. I stayed home in my housecoat, drinking coffee on the porch while the clock ticked past 11. My phone started ringing around 11:30. First my sister, then Caleb's best man, then frantic messages from relatives. "Ruth Ann, where are you? The ceremony is about to start." "Madison is losing her mind. She keeps saying you're trying to ruin everything." Caleb left a voicemail, his voice tight with worry. "Mama, please call me. Everyone's asking where you are." I turned the phone face down and cried quietly. For the first time in 30 years, I chose myself.
Over my son. By noon, the wedding had completely fallen apart. My sister called again, her voice shaking with disbelief. "Ruth Ann, the wedding is off. You need to hear what happened." 10 minutes before the ceremony was supposed to begin, Caleb was waiting nervously in the groom's room when his best friend Jake burst in, pale and shaking, holding his phone. "Caleb, you gotta see this." On the screen were text messages and voice notes that Madison's maid of honor had accidentally sent to the wrong group chat. In them, Madison bragged to her inner circle that she was only marrying Caleb for his songwriting talent and industry connections. She admitted she didn't really love him. She loved what he could do for her career. She even laughed about having to tolerate the trailer trash mother until the wedding was over, then phase her out of our lives. Worse, she had been secretly meeting with a powerful record label executive, the same man she claimed was just her mentor. They had been planning to use Caleb's songs to boost her career and then sideline him once she got her big break. Caleb listened to the recordings in front of his groomsmen. His face went white. When he stormed into the bridal suite and confronted Madison in her expensive white gown, she tried to deny everything at first, then broke down crying, blaming stress and jealous people trying to ruin us. But it was too late. Guests started whispering, phones came out, one of the voice notes leaked. Within minutes, the entire bar knew the truth. Madison wasn't marrying for love, she was marrying for leverage and status. The ceremony never happened. Madison stormed out in her gown, screaming that I had sabotaged everything. Her family tried to spin the narrative, claiming I was a bitter, jealous mother who couldn't let go. But too many people had heard the recordings. Too many witnesses saw Caleb's heartbreak. By evening, the story was everywhere in Nashville. Country music blogs, gossip sites, and local news ran headlines, "Rising country music star's wedding collapses after secret recordings reveal she was using the groom for career." Caleb came to my house that night looking broken. He sat on my porch steps with his guitar across his lap, just like he did when he was 16. "Mama," he said, voice cracking, "she told you not to come, didn't she?" I nodded. He looked down at his hands. "I should have seen it. All the times she changed the subject when you tried to talk about our life. All the times she made fun of your cooking behind your back. I thought she was just ambitious." I put my arm around his shoulders. "Baby, ambition is fine. Cruelty isn't." We sat there until the stars came out, talking about the hard years, the sacrifices, and the love that never needed a stage or a spotlight. In the weeks that followed, Madison tried desperately to save her image. She posted tearful videos claiming I had manipulated Caleb and spread lies about her. Her family even threatened to sue me for defamation, but the truth had already spread too far. Caleb released a new song called Porch Light, a raw, honest track about growing up with a single mother who never gave up. It went viral in Nashville and beyond. People started sharing their own stories of strong mothers and toxic relationships. Madison's career took a major hit. Sponsors dropped her, the record label distanced itself. Her perfect country princess image was shattered. As for me, I turned my handmade decorations into a small business. Women from all over Tennessee now order my mason jar centerpieces, lace runners, and wildflower bouquets for their weddings and baby showers. Many tell me my story gave them courage to set boundaries. Caleb moved closer to home. He still writes songs, but now they're about real love, real struggle, and real family. Every Sunday, we sit on the porch, drink sweet tea, and talk about life. Last week, he looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "Mama, I used to think success meant stages and spotlights. Now I know it means having someone who never walked away, even when the whole world told her she wasn't good enough." I smiled and squeezed his hand. "That's the only kind of success that matters, baby." And as the fireflies danced in the backyard and the cicadas sang their evening song, I finally felt at peace. I had raised a good man. And more importantly, I had learned that sometimes the strongest thing a mother can do is simply refuse to disappear.